Hi everyone and welcome to today's episode. I'm Sunny. I'm currently pursuing my graduate studies at the Institute Technology Management at National Taiwan University of Science and Technology. Today we have Chichi here and we are the faculty's Professor Jingjing Wong student. Hi Chichi.
Hi.
So it's truly a pleasure to be your host for today's episode. And today our goal is trying to introduce you and trying to talk about you and your family business, the GoangXing Paper Mill. And I hope to give everyone a deeper understanding of GoangXing cultural heritage, craftsmanship, and its role of preserving Taiwan's paper making legacy. So, Chichi, can you give everyone a brief self-introduction about you?
So hi everyone. I am Chichi. My name is Huang Qi actually, but everyone call me Chichi. And the third generation of GoangXing Paper Mill. And I graduated from NTUST, like the same school as Sunny, around 2 years ago. And I was also Professor Junjun's student. That's how we met and have this opportunity to host this podcast here. And I have graduated 2 years ago, and now I work full time in the paper mill. And currently, my job is to introduce the paper mill and let people know what has been going on in the paper mills more deeply and or also in a more interesting way, I would say. So yeah.
Yes, and I would like to add some introduction that we have met in the class that Professor Jingjing opened. It's called Social Innovation, and there is a class that Chi-Chi's come and giving us an introduction about their paper mill, and we are really truly inspired of their story and their family and the paper mill. So we are now in Nantou Puli, and there's a paper mill here. And today, Chichi introduced us and trying to take us a tour and see around the paper mill, and we really like it. And today, so we are going to do an episode about that. And they were divided into different parts, like how was the paper mill developed in recently, and what is the history and present and the future about the GoangXing Paper Mill. And more, we would talk about the value and the vision about the paper mill. So let's go into the first part of the GoangXing's development. So I believe what made GoangXing so fascinating is not only its long-standing heritage, but also it continues to evolve. It's what Chichi does now. So as one of the very few handmade paper mills still operating in Taiwan, GoangXing has actively expanded in multiple directions, like the tourist tour and the specialty paper products, and maybe the upgrading of the factory paper mills and preserving traditional craftsmanship. These are the paper mill doing different works, right?
Yeah.
And they also been engaging in educational outreach, like I said in the social innovation class. It's really interesting that Gigi giving us a presentation about that. So can you tell us more about GoangXing is currently being managed and what direction you're leading from your family?
So I would say GoangXing Paper Mill is a really cool place. And I always call it's a lively museum. That's a museum that's alive. And so we have three pillars. One is the tourist factory. So we host a tour every 30 minutes every day. So whenever you come, you can join the tour and view our artisan making paper on site. And you can make paper by yourself. And our second pillar is how shows our commitment to handmade paper. And this is our paper store, and it's also our production site to make really refined handmade paper for art and also for art conservations. I would say this is the root of the entire GoangXing Paper Mill. And also we have the third pillar, that is our natural fiber lab. And this is where some innovative, out of nowhere ideas are blended into the traditional paper making. And we use a lot of recycled materials to make paper. And so it let the paper be able to represent different local stories around Taiwan. So yeah, that's the three pillars of GoangXing Paper Mill, and that's how the paper mill is currently. So yeah.
Yes, I do remember that the day in the morning that we stepped inside the tourist attraction, the factory, and we saw there are many little machine that trying to make the paper, and there's some little children, and the family bring children to trying to make the paper, and it's cool and it's really cute. The machine is really small, and I remember that the next part I remember is this remind me of the first the presentation that in the social innovation. Chichi brings different kind of papers and trying to show us, and like you can touch it and you can see what is the ingredients about the paper, and it's really cool about that. So
and for the machine, it's the mold, right? The paper making, the wooden frame that the artisan hold to make paper.
Yes.
So
it's really beautiful. The weather today is really good, and it's sunny today. So far that we talk about GoangXing's ongoing development, and we're now talking about the values and the vision, from the products to tourism and artistic collaboration. But behind all of this, I see that there's something more fundamental. GoangXing is not just a paper mill. We have an episode talking with the artisans and Chichi's mom here, and we saw that there's a deeper spirit that drives everything here, a spirit rooted in people. So I know GoangXing isn't a huge factory by size, but it has solely and dedicated team. So could you share that how many people are there in GoangXing Paper Mill, and like who is everyone's position is working for anything?
So now we have 10 artisans making paper, and some of them have been working in the paper mill over 40 years.
Oh, so how old are they?
They're around 60 to 70.
Oh.
So and they are unwilling to retire because they love making paper. They love have something to do in their life, and so they're still joining the paper mill and even come every day to make paper. So
did you grow up with them and like you're a baby and they're just working here?
I grew up with them, and also my papa even grew up with them, and then they saw me as a baby, and they saw me as a 25 years old now, but they are really supportive. So I would say GoangXing Paper Mill is more like a family, and so we have 10 artisans making paper, and also have around 15 tour guide, like receiving the visitor. But we are all like a family, and we just support each other, and sometimes we even joke about each other. I would say we don't have a really clear hierarchy system in the GoangXing Paper Mill. Everyone is just like a big brother, and for them I still show a great respect to them, because the artisans are the key people making the paper making possible nowadays. But we are just like a really warm family. So
I believe that, because we come here and trying to interview with your family member and the worker here, and they're just, oh, Chichi is really good, and she bring you to here, and you can see who would like to come and visit Puli, and they do believe that bringing young people here, they're trying to make here more better and trying to make the place better. They do really trust you and really like you about your work and everything about that.
And they are really supportive, because I would say my grandpa, when he founded the paper mill, he has two big words that he asked everyone must follow. That's like the key value of the paper mill. The one is 诚信. 诚信 is in Chinese, but it's more like a honesty and integrity toward our product and toward people. And also another thing he really values is human harmony. So he wants everything is all rounded, and everyone is like talking to each other, having each other smoothly and happily. That's his two things that he really, really cared about when he founded the paper mill. And he passed this idea to my papa, and my papa passed the idea to me. So I would say this is why the GoangXing Paper Mill becomes like a family, because we all follow these two values, ideas, yeah, nowadays.
Oh, I think so. Okay, you talk about your grandfather and your papa always many times, and I think the history about the GoangXing Paper Mill is really important to your family too. But although it's have a bright side about the factory, I think like the factory needed to change to the tourist attraction, or maybe involved to making outreach to the outside, to a different country.
Yeah.
There's maybe a lot of challenges about there. So can you talk about the history, like how the factory trying to change to be a tourist attraction, and how is that change, and how is there any challenges about that in this process about that?
Yeah, so this has to really trace back to the history of handmade paper in Taiwan. So actually the skill, the technique was introduced by Japanese when Taiwan was under rule by Japan before 1940. And because this town is called Puli. This is where the paper mill is located. We had really clean water, and Japanese found that the clean water can ensure the quality of the paper because it can prevent the paper from becoming yellow afterward. So they founded the very first handmade paper workshop here, and then the industry boomed. So we have over 50 handmade paper making a paper mill making practice use paper for calligraphy. And so over 50 in such a small town. But sadly, during 1980 to 1990, the industry started to decline severely. So a lot of paper mill relocated to Thailand, the Philippines, and also machine-made paper start to replace the market for calligraphy practice use paper. And that's also the time when my grandpa, the founder, decided to retire. And so my papa took over the paper mill because he grew up with the artisan, so he really wanna keep the job for them. But there was no order coming in, so he was struggling a lot at that time. And that's the time he met the artist, a local artist in Puli, and the artist suggests the idea of tourist factory to him, and he saw maybe that's one chance to really sustain the paper mill. And that's how he decided to give it a try. He didn't think that much, and just let's try. At least we have to try first.
He saw the opportunity about that.
Yeah. So he opened the paper mill. Of course, we did a lot of changes, like redesign the venue and also communicate to the artisan to like let them know why we have to do this, and also let them know how they have to change their working content. Basically, it's the same, but they have to move their tools to a new place, and also they have to like clean their space more.
Yes.
And so but after that, the tourist part was really successful, and it actually brought in a really sustainable revenue stream to sustain the paper mill. But after that, my papa felt really pity if the paper making become a performance only.
Oh yes.
Yeah, because he doesn't want the artisan become the performer. They see he saw the artisan have a really good value and skill in making paper. So he really want to keep it running. So that's when he started to writing letter to artists in Taiwan. That was 20 years ago, so we don't have any personal data protection law or anything.
Oh, this
so
is, this is a little bit pity about that.
yeah, so he can find the album with all the artists' name, phone number, address on the album. So he started to writing letter and also send paper sample to them, and he changed the paper making formula and also the paper making skill to even refine the skill for those artists who give feedback to him. And this is also when he started to really focus on kozo paper. Kozo paper is like the refined fiber, like the most traditional fibers of handmade paper, and also gampi paper. And he started to do all kind of experiments to learn how to take care of these fibers, and also like produce a small patch and send it to the artist and ask for feedback and change the formula again to really pursue the perfect quality of the paper.
It's really hard working, like all the details that, or maybe there is not really bombarded information about at that time.
Yeah.
And they need to, like you say, the album. Now, like people always sending email, but not using the letter. It's really hard. I feel the passion and the dedicated passion about that.
Yeah, and also at that time, other paper mills in Taiwan, they also including the GoangXing Paper Mill. We used to making basic white paper for calligraphy practice. But when they are going to make more refined work, they will buy paper from Japan. That's why my papa feel really sad about this, because we have such a good paper making foundation in Puli already. Then why we couldn't produce any refined paper for the artists? And that's why he started to focus on koto paper, those refined paper making. So yeah.
Wow, it's really long, heartwarming story about us, and trying to make the factory neat and clean for the tourist attraction, and about the details that you said about like sending everything to the artist.
Yeah.
That there are so many artists that still connected with your paper and trying, maybe the artisans, and trying to adjust the paper fiber about that. And I do see that there is another way, and another innovation part is your mother trying to do the natural fiber and using that. And how was that begin, and why you're trying to use the natural fiber lab about that?
Yeah, because the development for the refined handmade paper for art and artists and for art and art conservation, it took over 10 years, around 10 to 15 years, to really build the credibility and also pursue the really perfect quality. And so during this process, the order was fluctuating sometimes, and my mama was thinking about if there is any other way to make handmade paper more approachable to the public, because it's not everyone practicing calligraphy or ink painting in Taiwan even. So he was like, yeah, maybe we can blend in more ideas in the paper making. And so this also happened like occasionally. So she went shopping in a local market every day, basically. And we have local elders selling vegetable grown by themselves. And she always bought from one stand. But normally the other ladies will complain because she knew my mom. They all knew my mama was from the paper mill, and so they'll be like, "Why you only bought the vegetable from her? You have to buy the vegetable from me too." And so she just have to buy vegetable from every stand from every ladies, but we can never finish those vegetables. And so she was thinking, okay, vegetable are fibers too. Then why don't we try to make it into paper? And at that time, the Ministry of Culture in Taiwan also proposed the Taiwan 100th proposal. It's like a project to celebrate the 100th Taiwan National Day. So, and there was a really flexible proposal. As long as you can showcase the beauty of Taiwan, you can join the proposal. So my mama was like, okay, let's just make 100 kind of paper from this kind of recycle or like agricultural based materials.
So the factory just trying to find 100 kind of fibers to make the
Yeah,
paper?
yeah. And
100?
100.
Wow.
And at that time, the local farmer helped greatly. They are so kind, and they will. Sometimes my mama couldn't find certain vegetable, and they will say, "Just I will take it. I will try to find it for you." And so they do provide the vegetable afterwards. And also that's when we start to use more unoccasional, like a not traditional material to make paper. Yeah.
I do think that it's hard to believe, but in Taiwan and in the rural area, the people are really generous. Like they will give as much as they can, and then trying to promote themselves or trying to help you. They believe that the factory is doing better things and doing good things, so they are really have passionate to help you, and even like giving you more that you can finish that. And I don't know that the story is like the vegetables is too much that your mother need to changing the idea into doing the paper about that. It's really interesting. I don't know that. The story I know before is about the 100 fiber about that, so it's really interesting about that.
That's the beginning of the natural fiber lab. But afterward, a lot of organizations, company, they saw we have this kind of paper, and they started to send their waste material to us, and we have to do some research as well, try to find the proper way to take care of this fiber. And so, but it also gained a great help from the traditional paper making knowledge, because at the time, my papa has been doing the ongoing experiments for the refined paper for a long time. So he really knows about the fiber. And so he advised my mama too, like how to preserve the natural feature of the fiber while ensure the paper is durable at the same time. So
I believe that your papa is trying to make the paper's quality better, and your mom is trying to make the environment better. They do care about the environment, because the ingredients and the materials about the paper still really stands really close with the environment. So they believe that, and it's really precious about at that time, and it's cool. So I'm trying to step back a little. So how do Chichi feels that? How can you describe GoangXing as a paper mill today? So what is your value and vision about GoangXing nowadays in your perspective, or anything you want to share? It's okay.
I would say the three pillars of GoangXing Paper Mill are important, equally important. I would say the people first orientations also like the key value of the paper mill, and will be sustained afterwards as well. And also our handmade paper is our root. So everything from now on will be based on this as well. This is our commitment and also our promise that we wouldn't change at all about this. So I would say, because a lot of people say the handmade paper from GoangXing Paper Mill is really eco-friendly, and we did a lot of ESG. But sometimes I would say, why I view GoangXing Paper Mill is the other way around. It's like we really care about our relationship with our customer, because we wouldn't normally call them customer, because they call them as a partner or like a artist, because for the refined paper making, they are a part of this, because how we can make such a variety of paper is because of them. They give us a lot of advice, suggestions, and also give us different features to combine them into the paper making. And also my papa feel we have to be responsible for them, because sometimes artists use our paper to turn it into artwork and sold it into gallery, museum, or collector, and the work should be able to sustain over hundreds of years. And paper played a key role in that. So he really feel like he has a responsibility to ensure the quality, the durability of the paper. And that's why the paper in GoangXing Paper Mill, we try to not use that much chemical to take care of the fiber. Yes. And we try to use more physical process when we are making the paper, and more like a traditional process to make the paper. And this was around 10 years ago, 15 years ago, even before ESG become a really important thing nowadays. So it's always because we care about the paper. And for my mom, why she started to make the natural fiber paper is also because she really want to sustain the craft, and also she want to help the local lady. And that's the ideas of GoangXing Paper Mill. It's always the commitment of handmade paper and also the people first orientation help us to shape the paper mill nowadays. I would say in the future we will follow the similar path. It's like to take care of people's needs about paper, and also try to make things happen for them. So yeah.
Actually, you just answer the question that I wanted to ask, that what is the vision of where GoangXing is before in the future. Yeah. And I think that all of your family members' entire life is in the paper mill and about the paper. So I do believe that the environment, the society between like you and your family and the family and the local ladies or any farmers in Taiwan or in Nantou in Taiwan, it's really important. It's really important in your heart and your family. So I do believe the stories is really heartwarming for me. And if there's a chance to promote your brand, the paper mill, and whether it's a new product, a new audience, or even new ways that sharing GoangXing's story, how would you set in one sentence or any word to share GoangXing's value about that?
So yeah, I would say just come to the paper mill and see our artisan making paper and touch the paper, feel the paper difference, and you will see what GoangXing Paper Mill have been done for over the 60 years. So yeah.
And I do believe that there's a lot of foreign students in the class social innovation, and they're really inspired by the paper. And even Chichi gives them paper to write the word. I would say 毛笔.
Calligraphy.
The calligraphy there, and they love that. They really truly love the idea that the paper, and they don't even use. In our elementary school, I really hate that.
The brush, the Chinese brush,
and it will be not clean. It'll be dirty when every time finish the art class. But they really love that. So I think the promote that you've been done is really well, and you are trying better to promote the paper mill. I think it's beautiful.
Thank you.
That brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you so much, Chichi, for sharing not only GoangXing's story, but also the values and vision that continue to shape the future about the paper mill. So in our next episode, we will be dividing into the fascinating world of GoangXing Paper Mill's specialty papers, from premium grade paper used in artwork and illustration to fiber-based innovations that reflect both tradition and modern sustainability. We will also talk about the hopes and the challenge that's come to taking GoangXing Paper Mill into the next generation. So stay tuned, and thank you for joining us this journey through Taiwan's paper making heritage. See you next time.